Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is 2 o'clock. Got a lot of good data to unpack. So let's run right through it and let's jump into it. First, let's get the backdrop of the market. Everything across the board, all the indexes are up at the moment. We have a Jackson Hole meeting this week with the Fed, which is very common at this time of year. And it is my belief that not much is going to come out of it. I believe rates is really not much. There's going to be some back talk about expansion, GDP, overall inflation data. I don't really think much of it is going to matter. I don't think rates are changing. The only thing that could move either way is depending on just the overall rhetoric that comes out and gets leaked from this, whether their intention is to hold rates, push rates, lower rates. I don't really think any of it really matters, but just throwing that out there. We have NVIDIA's earnings are tomorrow. That is a significant earnings, as it is the largest per cap, largest stock in the entire market, which I believe I'm correct there. It might be Apple again. Apple might have taken back the throne. It was NVIDIA for a while, and then Apple got ahead of it. We have the ongoing conflict, though it has been reported that quite a bit of oil is flowing through the strait now, hence oil being down a little bit over 3% today. You know, like I mentioned before in multiple videos, you're going to have a tug and pull on both sides. I just think that if you're like me, you're shorting oil and you're waiting for the large move to happen, which I think is the inevitable, whether it's an agreement, a ceasefire, something more concrete and more substantial, which I think inevitably we're going to get. And the reason I say that is we have the bond, all the treasury yields that are continuing to go up. And the reason I say that is that, to me, is the biggest mover for this administration. They've shown their cards. Scott Bessent, which I happen to think is a sharp guy. I don't know that I love all his policies, but overall, I think, I hold him in decent regard. He had, just for the record, he had a couple failed hedge funds that he ran. So, hard for me to make an informative decision on overall his production. Up to this moment, he said some things that are pretty spot on, and he's doing the best he can with the cards he was dealt. Let's talk about this. The bond buyback last week that was announced, or the Treasury bond buyback, essentially backstopping the market, I think is going to bode well. What that was an effort to buy Treasury bonds to push this down. It's not working at the moment. However, it doesn't actually begin till September 9th. So for everybody that's jumping the gun and they're saying, oh, it's another failed policy by Trump and Bessent, maybe, but it hasn't even started yet. It doesn't start until September 9th. So before you make that claim, let's see if it actually does work or not. I will say Stanley Druckenmiller, which if you don't know who he is, he's one of the most famous hedge fund managers in the world. And he was actually Scott Bessent's boss in the London office for, I forget the firm. He worked under George Soros. And I know I'm speaking a lot of minutia here, and I'll get through it quick. Basically, he wrote a piece yesterday and talked about how this is disguised as a bond buyback, but essentially quantitative easing, and it's going to fail miserably. He very well might be right. With that said, I think we have to wait to see how this plays out. Trump tried to force into buying mortgage-backed securities last year to help the mortgage rates. It didn't work. We're kind of doing the same thing in a different capacity, but I'll spare you. But the reason I think this is going to help the market, which is what I want to cut straight to, is they're pumping liquidity again. So with more pumping of more liquidity usually helps expanding multiples. And with that, I do anticipate a rally in the market. And I'm going to show my reflection of that in the stocks that I own. Now let's jump into oil. As I mentioned, oil is down. The chart looks whatever. I short USO. Here's where I'm at. USO down a little bit over 3%. I am very short oil. You can short USO for nothing. So, by the way, if you have patience and you have time, this is not financial advice, but rather for educational purposes, you can short USO. There's no borrow rate. You could stay in it for 2-3 months until ultimately what ends up happening, this drops down to under $80, which I think is inevitable. If you have the patience for that, great. If not, then maybe it's not for you. Moving right along. Gold Gold up again today, but barely. This is truly capitulation down here. We talked about it. We bought GLD, we bought AU, but this chart looks great. I think obviously 5,000 is happening probably within the next 2 weeks. If I were to guess, 6,000 will be the next stop. AU, a stock that I got into down here, rocking and rolling. For those of you that joined me on that trade a couple weeks ago, congratulations. You're like me, you're probably up about 25% on that. GLD is one that you could look at if you're into playing GLD. I know some people that have long dated calls. I don't necessarily think it's a bad strategy. I don't think it's sexy enough for the majority of the people that text me, call me, watch my videos. I just think everybody's looking for the fast stuff. This is a more conservative play. If you want to take this with a 450 strike out a year, 2 years, I mean, it's probably the probability of success is pretty high. All right, let's go to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I mean, we talked about this. We got into IBIT calls. We bought more Bitcoin. I've been talking about it during the sideways action. I said patience will pay. So we had that high last night of 82,000, and that's the largest area of resistance. And I've mentioned this. And this is going to be the largest area of resistance. The minute it breaks through that, it's blue skies all the way through, $100,000 inevitable. I'm positioned accordingly. I do think it's going to break through, but it's going to have a hard time. It got rejected last night. I would anticipate it'll probably get rejected once or twice more before it could break through. IBIT, I mean, if you're in those calls with me, we got those in this region, some even here. I'm up personally, again, I don't really like to talk about but I'm up over like 80% on these calls. They're out till next year, July. I still think there's time to get in them. But then you have to do what's best for you. I have quite a bit of conviction that Bitcoin is going higher. It is my belief that we will see 100,000. I cannot wait personally because there's so many people that were chirping at me that were in the 60 range. They were like, it's dead. Bro, please. It is not dead. At the end of the day, it's going to be over 100 grand again. So, but listen, do what you feel is best for your own risk tolerance. Anyways, I think so far, so good. And if you got in and you decided, you know what, this is good enough for me. I got in, I'm out. Congratulations. You made over 20% on your money. I think that serves well, and that's a good thing. Now let's jump into the NASDAQ. All right, the NASDAQ yesterday was shit, dropped below most major moving averages. You wouldn't know if you felt it. I mean, if you saw it, the majority of the names that were in are holding up pretty well. I don't want to violate yesterday's low. So for me, that's kind of significant. I want to increase my exposure. I do think that the buybacks or the treasury buyback that's going to happen next month is going to ultimately help propel the market to new all-time highs. I do firmly believe that. However, I want to see some confirmation. I'm still on yellow, but I'm really inching to go back on green. I still think this looks okay. Yeah, so one of the things I like to look at is the RSP. This is equal weight S&P. And overall, I mean, you could see this has held up really well. It means the distribution of the stocks, there's rotation constantly, which is super healthy. So overall, I think that looks good. All right, cool. So we touched on the major averages. We touched on the backdrop of the market. So let's touch on the most important thing, and let's get to stocks and how they're doing. Let's first jump into ELF. ELF was a relatively recent purchase for me. I bought this around $96 at 105 now. Looks good, forming a really, really nice base here. It pulled back 5 days, dried out volume, and excelled higher. I would anticipate that this is going to move further north in the next 2 weeks. This looks good on a trade and a swing trade perspective. I'm still long ELF, and I really like that name. For keeping this in no specific order, UWMC, that is the United holding. I talked about this. So I bought this on the low, came up, gave a little bit back, having a better day today. I really like to see this around $2 as my exit point. I mean, I bought it at like $1.04. I'd like to make 95, 96%. All things considering, that would be great. I think I'm up 40-something% at the moment. So far, so good. Having a good bounce back day today. We touched on AU, the gold name that I'm in. And now let's kind of go into a couple other names. Tesla, Tesla, I think, I kind of called a couple names, whether it's Intuit, Gold, Bitcoin, that I kind of saw the bottoms. And I feel confident to say, and I actually last week got into calls to fill this gap. So I have some calls out about 2-3 months. I think it's towards it's out till December. And I wanted to fill this gap. So far, so good. I'm really looking to fill this gap till about 370. I think my calls were like a 360, 365 strike. I think the bottom's in for Tesla. I think it's a great buying opportunity long term, and then also a swing trade. I think you're trading at 353. I think 370 is inevitable within the next couple of weeks. That most gaps get filled like that. I mean, it's got some work to do, but this looks great on multiple perspectives. So Tesla still strong there. I talked about Intuit. Intuit reports today, so that is an area of interest for me. Kind of my concern because it came up off the bottom and basically has been stair-stepping up. And it's been super healthy, up, down, a little bit up, but it's slowly stepping its way up. And today down. I like the softness going into the print. I'm still holding my full position, and I am not anticipating to do anything. I'm going to go into earnings with a full position, both in my IRA and my trading account. If I didn't own this, though, I think I would definitely take a swing at this for earnings. Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to crush it. I mean, this stock is so undervalued, it's absurd. All right, for no particular order, let's keep going. IGV, I'm still in this name, even though it's down today. So, my apologies. I talk fast. So it got up here, and now it's had about 4 or 5 days sideways. Everybody calm your tits. It's going to be fine. Let it breathe. It's going to be fine. Software is going to be good. Nothing to worry about. Dell, another one I'm still in, which is, God, this thing is it's just, every time I think it's gone, it comes back. Gone, comes back. Made an all-time high at 513, has given it back, kind of did some sideways action. I have not exited anything. I was not stopped out of any of my position. I still think this looks super constructive, so I'm holding it. I would tell you I think this is a name you can buy if you didn't own it. Okay. Moving right along. Let's get into memory. Micron, my favorite name in memory, up 1 point today. This is the best looking memory chart. And I think memory names are decoupling. And so what I mean by that, Seagate, Western Digital, they're going the opposite direction. SanDisk, Micron. SanDisk doesn't look anywhere near as good, even though I own it. Micron looks great. I think this is building the right side of the base. I think this looks fantastic. I still own it full position. SanDisk, SanDisk doesn't look as good, and I'm starting to see a lot of decoupling. And honestly, if it breaks the barrier of the low of that day, which is 1320, I'm definitely going to exit. I made a good trade on the earnings with holding SNDU, but now I'm not loving the fact that Micron is taking the lead. And I want to own the leaders. I don't want to own the people that are behind. And so no intention to hold on to losers. Okay. That's it in that category. Now let's keep it moving to biotech, which has just been an absolute winner for all my friends that love biotech stocks. This is obviously my favorite. Having a good day today. This is just, I've been pumping, like just saying, like, guys, I've been pounding the table saying you should own this, own this, own this. This is a buyout candidate. I own a massive position relative to I have what we like to call big size here. And yeah, I like this name. I think they're going to get bought. The CEO has a proven track record of success. He has proof and concept. I think this is going somewhere, and I think it's going higher. So yeah, if you didn't buy it, I don't know what to tell you. TGTX, my second favorite name. Oh, man, neck is killing me. This looks great. So they went up 2 days in a row based off of rumors. There were some rumors that they were going to get bought out. So the stock went up, immensely yesterday and Friday. And so what we're looking for is a clean breakout. We want to get above that 59.40 position. So another $5 would be clear skies. This is another buyout candidate. Multiple sclerosis drug. If you don't know who they are, you can certainly research them. They actually have revenue. And I another one that I think is best in class for owning it. I've done quite a bit of due diligence on these last two. And I know all my doctor friends, actually none of my doctor friends even know anything about these stocks because they don't spend the time. They're more worried about pumping vaccines than they are than actually studying these stocks and making themselves some money. So here nor there, let's keep it moving. That's it. I ran through the gauntlet. That's all I'm in. Pretty simplistic. I'm not going down IRA, but if I had to go down IRA, it's Costco, Visa, Amazon, Google. It's the same shit it's always been. Nothing's changed. I do still own Microsoft in my trading account, and that's kind of like flat. Hasn't done anything. I'll just pull it up just for some people. And then I'm going to give you guys a trade idea for the week. Microsoft. Yeah, I mean, this still looks great, by the way. Like, if you... I know somebody specifically that took calls on Friday, and he took $500 strikes out till the beginning of next year. I think it's he found a good one with a great delta, meaning the Greeks, the numbers worked out, whatever. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. Anyways, this looks great. You know, if you don't own it, maybe consider owning it. And finally, I'll do Moderna because I have been trading this quite a bit on day trades. I was out of town. I traded IBIT and Moderna day trades while I was on the plane the last couple times. I mean, this is a very easy stock to trade, by the way. If you guys are looking for scalps for daily, if you pull this up on a short time frame, this is going to give you every opportunity to trade this. If you know how to read charts, you could trade this. This is forming a high tide flag. At least I think it's going to form a high tide flag. This is a day trader's delight. Anyways, and then finally, it was disclosed that Nancy Pelosi took a substantial position and Bloom Energy. I have not had success with Bloom at all last year. I'm not going to trade this. I'm only throwing it out because I know a bunch of friends of mine they went out and they bought this yesterday. Pelosi took a very large position. I even think Trump took a position. So Pelosi and Trump are bipartisan here. They both believe in this. Yeah, I'm not buying this. I'm just pointing it out. Kind of hard to go against Pelosi. That lady is a trading master, and it appears Donald Trump is as well. Our sitting president of the United States of America is trading up a storm. I don't know how I feel about that. Well, I tell you how I feel. I don't feel great about it. I feel like a schmuck that I'm just a common dude, and our president and Pelosi, and by the way, I'm not trying to make this political. I just think regardless on what side of the aisle, I think we can all agree absolutely absurd what's going on both sides. The corruption's at full display. Anyways, I think that's all I got for you. Sorry to make this video with the backdrop of political. I had no intention to do that. Just giving you the perspective and how to make money. NVIDIA pulling that up, just so you know, pulling back, sat at its 50 yesterday, bounced. I think they're going to kill their earnings today. Whether that makes the stock go up or down, I don't know. I think they're going to go up. I'm not playing this. I know everybody and their mothers is. If I feel really froggy in about an hour, I might take a call or two just on the upside. I haven't even looked at the option chain. Anyways, I think that is it. That is it. Hopefully you guys have a good trading week. Let's keep an eye on Jackson Hole. Please don't jump the gun. I mean, I get so many, and my final thoughts are is for those of you that make everything about like, well, Trump this or the Democrats that, or that's affecting the market. Like, guys, like, we don't know if this Treasury buyback is going to work or not. I hope it works for the sake of the United States. I hope this Treasury buyback pushes these Treasury rates down because we need these to come down. I mean, the 30-year was at a 15-year high. That's not good. So hopefully it works. But for those of you, so many of you, I had to correct you guys. You're like, you see, the buybacks aren't working. You didn't even know that it doesn't even start until September 9th. Like, guys, calm down. All right, I'll be back probably Thursday for another video. Got some good trades. Play NVIDIA if you're a little froggy today. All right, sayonara.